Welcome back, everyone. This is your man JWalt Zero here with some news for y'all. I will be joining the Air Force. You heard me right. I will be joining the Air Force. This was a decision that I made for myself a long time ago, and I didn't want to come out of the blue one day and say, hey, I've joined the Air Force, or hey, I'm leaving tomorrow for 2 months of basic training for the Air Force, or not say anything at all. This is the number one reason why I'm not hosting the PCAs this year and will host one every odd numbered year. There was only one other editor online who knew for a hot minute about me joining, and that was my friend 904 Taller Tim, who's also in the Air Force. For those of you who knows Tall Tim, I'm sure y'all remember when he announced back in 2008 that he was joining the Air Force. When I first saw that he was leaving, part of me was like, huh? And then another part of me was like, good for him. He needs to move on to bigger and better things, and he's done that. I've been wanting to join the military since 2005, but I've had a lot of things keeping me from joining along with my own fears. I've been working ever since high school and going to college and working after high school graduation in 2005, and I've learned a lot about myself since then, met a lot of great people online and offline, found more hobbies, A and B's in 2007, and I've become a better Christian than I was back then. But now I think it's time for me to move on to bigger and better things. Some of my offline friends have told me it's not worth it with their own reasons, and I can see some of their points. But I have to do this. I'd be lying if I said I'm not scared to go along with this. But I know in my heart I will be even more scared if I don't do this, because time is wasting, and more or less I have been in the same spot since high school graduation, which was almost 7 years ago. Even though it's only me and my dog and cats, I'm not really the man I know I can be when it comes to living on my own, being able to provide for my wife and children. I'm not married, I don't have any kids right now. And also protecting myself and the ones I care about from those who would do anything to harm us. When I do have kids, I want to give them a great future and a great legacy. It's not enough for me to worry about my own well-being like most single people do my age. I have to think in the long run for the lives that will be born in my bloodline. My children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. The most important thing I can do while I'm on this earth is to serve God, and under that, raise my future family to do the same thing. I gotta get the ball rolling. I gotta get it rolling. And the military is the best way to move it in the right direction. Like most college students, I didn't take my first year seriously. I went into college with my mindset on a high school level. To those of you who are still in high school and think college is as easy as high school or as hard as high school, here's a news flash. It's not. It's harder. Even though you will be going to a certain class 2 times a week, you'll better spend every single day studying, because most of these classes only grade you on tests. You'll get classwork and you may get homework, but majority of these classes don't give you any grades for them. They may give you extra credit for the tests, but you'll hardly get any grades for them. And also, while you're still in school, get as much scholarships as you can. College is extremely expensive. I'm talking, if you go to a community college, one class is over $300, and that's not including the books, which are almost as much. At Greenville Tech in my first semester, I failed one class. Math is my worst subject. And then I got on academic probation. I took a web design class the next semester and found out afterwards that I had to study 3 chapters a week, plus get tested on those same chapters at the end of the week, online, with only 1 hour to finish the test. It's open book and multiple choice, but it really didn't matter. And you were only graded on tests in this class, nothing else. Not only that, I was working full-time too. I failed the final exam by 4 points. Guess what happened next? Academic suspension. I have been working, taking classes, and paying for those same classes from 2006 to 2009. Back then, you had to take 4 classes in one semester and pass all of them in order to get financial aid back. And even after you passed those classes, you still had to pay for them. 4 classes in 1 semester is ranked as a full-time student. Working full-time and going to college full-time is hardcore. This was the main reason why I would have less time to edit most of the time back then. I had more important priorities to take care of. And I am surprised I had as many vids I did back in those days. Sometimes I would take less than 4 classes at a time, or not take any classes. In 2010, after I took my last 2 classes, I fully decided that I was going into the Air Force. Not only am I tired of paying for classes, but even with a degree, nobody wants to hire you unless you have years worth of experience. How can you get that experience if they don't give it to you in college? And if the company you want to work for doesn't have a training program? This was only one of the reasons why I want to join the Air Force. I ain't got to put up with this crap. I'm just glad I never took any student loans. And if you have a degree, they move you up a rank in the military. The world we live in has done a very good job on using the boogeyman excuse to keep people from joining the military, and I was no exception. Yes, the taking of another human's life is in of itself bad, even evil. But there are people in this world who are dead set on taking out innocent lives for horrible agendas, and these types of people cannot be changed. In the act of self-defense, and if I was someone I cared about who was about to be killed by some maniac who shows that he or she doesn't give a damn about human life, I have to be able to stop that person from doing so. And if it takes me having to take away that maniac's life, I will do it. It's not worth it to lose the ones I care about to people like that when I have the power to stop them. Y'all already know this through the BS YouTube has been going through since 2008, but the internet censorship has been steadily increasing thanks to our own government. Years from now, the world will really see how evil this government is before and during the rapture, which I could spend a whole nother video talking about, but I gotta stick with the topic at hand. And yes, it is a fact that the government is the embodiment of evil. It says so in the Bible in the Revelations chapter. And there are evil people in this government who are the same as our enemies, and even worse. But I cannot let that fact stop me, since with God on my side, I will never stoop down to an evil level, and I will use the positive things that I have learned from the military for good instead of evil. If you really want to provide a reliable and better future for yourself, your family, and be more than you think you can be, and I know I sound like a flyer right now, but if you really want that, you have to join the military. I really wish it didn't have to be that way, but this country basically wants people to work till they die if they aren't military employed. And you can hardly keep a job if you aren't military employed. A decent job. That's how corrupted our system is. Example. Say you just got out of college for 4 years. You got your degree. You go in for a job interview. It's only you and one other person in this interview, and only one of you can get this job. Now, the other person has been military employed and taught by the military how to do the job, as well as getting his or her degree through the military paying for them to. They have the experience, years worth of experience. You don't. Guess who's going to get the job? There are only 2 ways you can get it. Either you know someone who knows someone in the company, or you're rich, or both. Those are the only ways you can get it. But even if you do get it, the chances aren't good that you'll still be there when a company starts laying off people, whether you're in the medical field or not. And no matter how many years you spent with that company, that's why so many people who are jobless right now really hate this, because they've been through this despite the dedicated work and years they've given to their jobs. I don't know anyone who seriously likes being unemployed, or spending most of their time working for small-time jobs they can't stand, working harder than they should, longer than they should, and getting paid a lot less than they should. If you're employed by the military, you will never have to worry about being unemployed. Those who get jobs who are military employed get paid a lot more than those who work at the same job, and even work longer than those who are military employed. They are the ones who move higher and faster on the food chain. They are the ones who get the promotions before the rest, unless they know someone who knows someone, or rich, or slept with someone. I don't know about y'all, but I know for a fact that I do not want to live my life in the wrong direction, even though I'm thinking of things that may or may not happen in that direction. That's risky to me. There's a lot of great benefits and opportunities for me if I do join, along with the military paying for my classes, since I am tired of working check to check and paying for some classes out of my own pocket. Glad I never took out any student loans. Through the Air Force, I'll be able to get my degrees and my majors, one of them being film editing. And I'll also have early retirement, since, like I said before, this country wants folks to basically work till they die if they aren't military employed. You work for more than 20 years in the military, you can retire, or you can keep it. And even though basic training will probably be the longest 2 months of my life, I have been training my mind, body, heart, and soul for this very rigorously since 2008, after my grandfather died, since he wanted me to join as well, along with practicing martial arts since 2010. It was ironic that 4 months after he passed away, Tim said he was leaving, since I was thinking about it too at the time, but I decided not to act on it yet. Tim has been giving me info on what goes down on his end, and even though I absolutely do not regret the time I spent since graduation not in the military, I'm going to make my recruitment into the Air Force a reality in 2012. This is the only branch of the military I want to join, since 96% of the Air Force helps you with your career choice, which is what also makes this branch of the military the hardest to join, since you have to score higher on the ASVAB test than any of the other branches. Right now I'm just waiting on the shipment date. When I find out what it is, I'll post it on my channel. I will also upload a special AMV a week before I leave, dedicated to those of you who have been with me since I got to AMV back in 2007. Like they said on Full Metal Alchemist, I'll be a dog of the military. But just like Edward, I will not let them control me to the point where I don't have free will between what's right and what's wrong. I'm not a robot. I'm human, flesh and blood. I'm joining the Air Force because the chances of me being sent to war are lesser in it than any other branches of the military. But if it ever gets to the point where I'll be sent to war, I will do whatever it takes to protect myself, my comrades, and innocent lives when we get on the front lines. I'm not saying I'm going to die by joining the military, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. But I'm not afraid to sacrifice my life if it means that the lives of the ones I care about will be saved in the process. I have 3 groups of people I consider my families, each one as important as the last. My first family is my blood family. My second family is my church family. And my third family is my online family. I'm going to miss my people offline and online, but I can't do this forever. I gotta move on, for me. Besides making friends online across 5 years, I've made 33 full music videos with animes and video games, along with many small AMVs, comedy vids, being a part of many collabos, MEPs, competitions, and hosting an AMV contest. I have done all that I can do online for this hobby, and this is the best time to get ready to leave. Now, does this mean that I'm going to stop making AMVs? Of course not. I've got so many concepts in my head, and this is a hobby that's going to stay with me until I'm old and gray. I probably won't have as much time anymore to edit, but I hardly had much time to edit in the first place, which is another reason why I need to join the Air Force. Before I leave, I'm going to work on as many edits as I can, as well as my first live action music video that I've been wanting to do for a hot minute, so I'm not dropping everything just yet. Plus I got collabos and MEPs to finish too. But thank you, and God bless for everything y'all have done for me, and what I've done for y'all while I've been in the AMV communities on YouTube and the org since 2007. It's been a pleasure. Like I said before, when I find out, I'll post on my channel the date I leave for the Air Force. This is your man JWalk0 signing out. Thank you for watching. Peace and God bless.